years I really didn't know you, even though that's what I thought. All the things I aim to put you through, and death it seems is all it brought. But you long to take me back, just to love and to save me, to give me this life I lack. Break me of my chains, bind me to your reins, your life within my veins. You remove my stains. Oh, 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 oh. Now you are a true part of me, regardless of what I feel. You have made me completely free, crushing Satan under your heel. But you long to take me back, just to love and to save me, to give me the life I lacked. Break me of my chains, bind me to your reins, your life within my veins. You remove my stains. Broken of my chains, broken Satan's claim. Life is so much sweeter, trusting my Redeemer.
Morning, everybody. It is the proverbial middle of mayhem. It's Wednesday. Let me try and get this silly thing down here. Again, tomorrow, no podcast tomorrow or Friday. I'll be back Monday. I think I fully decided that. Although there are topics I want to touch on. Anywho, we're about to have the discussion that I've been personally I've been putting at the back of the importance tree. So Sunday we had our Zoom, and I was not able to make it because I was trying to stay as available as I possibly could for the 15-year-old who was incapacitated and is enjoying his pampering a little too much. As a side note, I think he's liking being waited on hand and foot, no pun intended, a little too much. I think he's treating me like Alfred at this point, and he thinks he's Batman. I don't know. Anyhow, Sunday I wanted to stay as available as possible. So I handed the meeting off to the rest of the guys. Chris was in charge of it. And oh no, he milking it. We even had a discussion last night. I said, next time just address me as Alfred, we'll be okay. And I'll just call you Sir Bruce, make it easy. This and so wild that you say that, because my wife said the same thing. Last night she said it's a good thing we did not give him a bell. It's a good thing we didn't give him a bell. It would have been bad for us if he had a bell. Oh, it's over, over, over. Anyway, so Sunday we had our normal Zoom meeting. Time happened, and then some unfortunate interactions occurred. Um, and since that time, when I was made aware of it, I reached out to the individuals um, that were involved in it, whether by action or receivable action or reciprocal action. And that part, I'm not dealing with that part today. I'm dealing with a different part of what happened Sunday. I have a whole nother um, conversation to have about the other half. But Sunday and the results of Sunday lands squarely on my shoulder. And people are like, how and why and why? Well, I'll get to that today, and um, that's why today is important to have a discussion. I've been on not just this platform but this earth long enough. People might think, well, 50 isn't that big of a deal, but you know, it's a half a century. 50's a half a century. I mean, not they're obviously older people in the world, but when you start getting around that hovering that 50 mark, you can say you've lived a little bit. Um, didn't think I'd make it there, but I'm only a year and 1 month away from that. So I think I've done pretty good. So I think I have some life to you know glean from. But you end up realizing that you learn some things along the way. And Sunday happened because um, I refused to acknowledge some things about my position. Um, I kind of did this podcast for a long time as just a um, person talking to you, a fellow um, sojourner, if you want to call it that. And I did not want to have any sort of statements being made that um, even intonated that I was some sort of a leading figure. But the reality says differently, whether I like to acknowledge it or not. And there are people who do view me in a certain light, um, whether I require them to or not, ask them to or not, I want to be or not. And I think what happened Sunday leads me to believe that I have to approach this whole scenario differently than I have been. Um, and the reason I said that this lands squarely on my shoulders is that I did not take seriously the mantle. I'm not saying that like these silly people around these days, but this I did not own the position I was in. And as such, my leadership qualities um, I shut them down. I shut them down. And I started dealing as a very passive individual when it comes to that. So I had a conversation with one of our sisters, um, a very outspoken sister, and we spoke for a little bit. And having that conversation with her helped me understand quite a bit. Um, but the biggest thing I took from the conversation was that I have to stop um, running. I have to stop running. So I'm gonna stop running from this issue. And the issue I'm gonna stop running from is the leadership type stuff. I think even myself, I have a skewed view of leadership because I watch what leaders are looked to for, and that's not what I want. But I think if I do what I'm supposed to do, the leadership thing will not go to that level. So we're going to do a bit of a change up um, on Sundays. We're going to do a little bit of a change up. Um, and so this is going to be what it's like going forward. Um, Nothing of the format necessarily will change where people can, you come, you speak, you have your in the week testimonies and what God's done for you, or you have an encouragement for somebody, or you have a word, or none of that's changing at all. Um, but I may be a little bit more um, stern. I might be a little more stern, and in all honesty, a little more attentive to um, the things. And when I say stern, I mean um, if things start to get a little too chaotic, um, muting the whole room kind of thing, um, and individually letting up people in sequences and stuff. Um, the goal, of course, is never to have that happen because we want to be able to say we respect each other enough to wait until the other person's done. We respect each other enough to hold our agreements to a limited, quiet agreeing, just so people can still hear what the person is saying. Um, there is a monicum of a shared respect I want us to have for whoever is at the time saying something. I can't know what you're saying without me hearing what you're saying. And if I don't hear what you're saying, there's no way for me to know whether it's encouraging, disparaging, or what. And I think if we are going to be a body, we have to start functioning as one. When I walk, everything is in sequence. The right foot goes forward, the left foot stays planted and waits for the right foot to land unless you are running or hopping. And even then, there's a sequential movement of things for it to happen. Otherwise, you look like a drunk baby donkey and you fall down. We don't want that. If there is a itch, we know which hand goes to which spot. You know the left ain't gonna reach, so there's no need to keep having the left hand act up when you know you can't do it. Be still and let the right hand do what it's got to do. That kind of stuff. Um, I think we've become very comfortable with each other, and that's okay. I want that. I want y'all to be, you know, the interaction to be organic, fluid. I don't want us to become the kinds of interactions that you see on Sundays anymore, where people just come and be superficial. We don't want that on Sundays. I definitely did not intend for this to be a superficial meeting. I want us to be real with each other. I want us to understand each other's quirks, where we are in our walk, what personality we each have, what trauma we've been through that brought us to this location, patience where it's needed, pushing where it's needed. I want us to be able to do that. But I also want us to be able to do that with the mindset that this is my brother and sister, not this is just some other person online. And I think, unfortunately, there is still a hint of this idea that this is just an online thing and I am never going to have to meet this person. And so it's just kind of being a I'm there and that's it. I don't want that to be the case. The whole reason the Sunday Zoom thing started was to try and do things the way it was written and to get away from the nonsensical stuff it's become. Which is why I think I kind of ran from the leadership thing. It's because I saw what people did to leaders. What people do to leaders is they catapult them in a very ridiculous location. I'm not saying that you would have done that. I'm just saying that's the reason I didn't step into that role fully. At the same time, I'm not saying I'm some sort of moral high ground individual. Far from it. Far from it. But I did not want to be seen as some sort of a the way most pastors are seen. I don't want that. And I believe Sunday occurred because I have not taken up that a strong enough stance in the position I was put in. And I wasn't put in that position because I chose it. I wasn't put in that position because I wanted it. It naturally happened that way. And so because it naturally happened that way, I have to take it up and do with it the responsible thing. And I have not been doing the responsible thing. Um, and for that, I ask you guys' forgiveness for that. And y'all might not agree, but I have not been taking that responsibility the way it's supposed to be taken. Which is why I say it lands squarely on my shoulders, because had I done that, there would have been a very 98% possibility that that would not have happened on Sunday at all. I talked to that one sister, and we each have a thing to do. We each have a thing to do. And when we don't do the thing that we're supposed to be doing, you know what I mean? The body does not function correctly. It's just that I don't want this to become a issue of celebrity, an issue of being unaccountable. While that might be the role that I'm in, Nothing I'm doing has to do with the ability for others to call out. I don't know that's it's a scared thing, Lydia. For me, I think it's more of an unwilling thing. Um, I think I was running away from it for two reasons because I've had time to kind of think about it. Um, I couldn't be in that role. That was my thinking, and um, I did not like the idea of the role. Both of those things um, were excuses. That's simply what they were. They were excuses. So regardless of whether or not, even if it was fear, regardless of that, I that's not a reason. That's an excuse. That's not a reason. That's an excuse. So starting this Sunday, we're gonna be doing things a little bit different. Um, again, not it's not a whole lot different because we've been really doing really good. The meetings have been very very amazing. Like we've had some amazing times. But the issue I see at hand is that we need to be able to be stern enough with each other and understand that if someone is stern, it's from a position of family related sternness, not stranger related sternness. None of us are in a place where we can point the finger with nothing at all to say about ourselves. That's never going to be the case. And so, for each of us going through what we're going through in our own life, I would love for Sunday to be the place where we can kind of spread that stress out. I'd like for us to just spread that stress out, bring it to the table, pray over it, whatever it is, or leave the stress behind and just be. And I want us to be able to be direct with each other, even if it means addressing something about the person's personality, something about the person's conduct, speech. And I wanted to be able to do it, even if it's in the full setting, and not catch horrors about it, not be like all butthurt about it, but know that the reason the person is doing this, one, either they misunderstood you, or two, you're in the wrong. And if you look at it that they misunderstood you, then you can explain it to them without being angry. And if you're in the wrong, you can understand that you're in the wrong and repent. That's what we want. It's really that simple. If you're wrong, you're wrong. And if they're wrong, you can tell them, no, 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 you had that wrong. This is what I meant. Not how dare you take me this. If they misunderstood you, they misunderstood you. They have the right to misunderstand you. Sometimes you might not be clear. Sometimes many of us speak, and in our head, it's making a lot of sense. But to the person listening to us, you sound retarded. And if you sound that way to them, do you expect them to say, "Yeah, I understand"? So then they should be able to tell you, "No, I don't know what you're saying. I have no clue what you're saying." And if it's that way, then you can take that time and treat your life as a lesson in patience and explain to them what you meant. Even if it takes a half hour, you explain to them if you really want them to be on the same page of where you're at. They don't even have to agree with where you're at. But if you want them to understand, then flesh it out. I think, but far too often we get angry and we quit because it's easier. Like me, I quit on plenty of things. I found it easier to just not address, and that's not the way to do it. So I will be the first to tell you, That was ill of me. But I also have to be able to take the critique. And each of us have to be able to talk to each other frankly, and I should be able to take your discussion, talk to you back about where I'm at so that we're not confused about where each other's stance is. And if we say we're operating with each other out of love, then we should be okay. If we say that. Now we talk a lot about it, but we don't always actually act it, make it that way. I keep watching what churches do. I keep watching. And I don't understand how they function and keep believers within the body. I don't know how they do it because there's no avenue to talk to the leader. They don't have avenues to really go into. You have to go to some counselor of a counselor, and you talk to one person, and all they say is, "Well, God is with you," and that's the extent of your interaction with the leadership. That's not this place. That's not here. That is not here. We ought to be able to bring our disagreements, our happiness to each other. I don't know how else you would fulfill the statement in the Bible, say if you have a problem with your brother, go to him in private. If that's the case, then you should be able to have access to your brother in private, shouldn't you? Like if something really bad happens, then you should be able to say, I can go talk to my brother in private. The option should be there. But it feels like we don't really have that solidified yet. We don't have it solidified yet. So, as unfortunate as Sunday was, and the fallout has been quite monumentous, I won't sugarcoat that. Um, it was not angering, just upsetting. And the first thing that crossed my mind was that was on me. Um, that was on me. When I keep referring to this phone call I had with the sister, and it was a really, really not necessarily because of, you know, um, what the other person said, but it allowed me to to speak what was going on in my mind out loud. But the conversation came up about what I was when I was younger. They didn't put it in my head. As I was talking to her, just it reminded me that when I was small, I was kind of like the mediator for many of the disagreements that people had. Like if my mom and my sister had a fight, I kind of was like the middleman by default. And I was able to kind of traverse both sides with them and talk them through things. And so it just seems like I've been put in this position, or been he's been trying to groom me to that position of mediator, middleman for a while. And I have been trying to dip from that. And that was part of the issue. So I can't do that anymore. I can't sit on the sidelines, and I can't just be So you have my commitment to doing better. You have my commitment to um, being more of a peacekeeper, um, being able to bring opposing sides to a conversation, um, but also being as stern and straightforward as I can be. You know what I mean? And so I want us to be able to squabble, fight, but fight with the purpose of getting past the disagreement to a place where, you know, we can actually be. That's what we want. We want to be able to say, that's my sister, that's my brother, and we have a sister and brother interactions, and it might be off on days, but we love each other as family. And if we can't get to that point, then we do like Paul and Barnabas, and we, split ways. But I don't ever want to have the situation where, one, we don't listen intently enough to know where the person's at, what the person's saying, and we also don't give an opportunity for people to speak. That I'm not going to do no more. If it gets to the point where it's chaotic, I'm muting everybody up. Unlike in real life, where I can't do that, I'll just mute the whole room and we'll start from scratch. Um, I think that might be the most efficient. And based on how often I have to do that, I might have to get it addressed again. I don't know. But I hope I don't have to get it addressed more than once or twice again. So, I mean, we say we love each other. I say we start acting out of mutual respect like we love each other. Listen, we're not the same personalities. We're just not. No two humans are the same. If we were that vanilla, life would be boring. Life would be boring. Absolutely boring. Y'all can't tell me that even when he gets on some sort of a nerve, the Mr. So and so ain't a personality that you want around to bring levity to something that's absolutely horrendous. Y'all can't tell me that there are certain individuals in the room that when they talk, it's an encouragement. You can't tell me that. Everybody been through stuff that we all can profit from. But if I can't talk to you about what I've been through, then it profits nothing. If our goal is to get to the end of this life with Christ in tow, then we have to be able to talk to each other. Even if that talking is a squabble, even if that talking is a fight, even if that talking is a difference of opinion, we have to be able to do that and regroup. When Peter and Paul had their disagreements, never believed that it wasn't a disagreement. They disagreed and disagreed vehemently to his face. Now, I don't know if y'all remember Peter. I don't know if y'all remember. Now, please remember, I'm going to try and see if I can help you with some personality clashes here. Peter didn't play. If in case y'all forgot, Peter didn't play. Peter didn't play. Peter was a loudmouth. Peter went off all the time. Peter was a trip. Now imagine Paul going to go talk to Peter about something Peter did wrong. I know we like to say it's just a calm. It's Peter. It's Peter. It's Peter. Same dude. Ear Peter. That Peter. So please understand the dynamic we have here is it can be volatile. It can. Because also remember that we are coming from all of us from a chaotic background of what they called church. All of us, even if you want to call it that, it was church hurt. We all come from that location. Either people didn't listen, or people were being ridiculous, or they messed with the word of God. People, we understand that, right? So if we understand that, people don't just dump the history of what they think and know about people overnight. They don't. Sometimes you bring a imprint of somebody else and you put it on, whether intentionally or unintentionally, on somebody else. And you won't know you've done it until somebody tells you you've done it. And you should be in a position as an adult to take it and say, you know what, you're right. You weren't the one that did that. I can't hold that to you. You're a different person altogether. Peter, Paul, John, and lukewarm. If we don't get to that point, guys, I don't think we're going to grow. We say iron sharpens iron all the time. We say that. We like saying that. We really do. We love it. I want to show you something. I want to show you this real quick. When I show you this, I want you to understand the analogy I'm going to be talking to you about, okay? What you're going to see is what it looks like. Okay? Hope you're listening. Now remember, that's iron. That's iron. This is iron. All the equipment here, iron. One is going through the sharpening process. One is underneath the thing getting sharpened to withstand the blow with it. And one is hammering the tar out of it. This is iron sharpening iron. I hope you're aware that when people in your life are iron sharpening your iron, that this is the process here. I don't know what y'all thought the process was, but this is the actual process. Now, understand me. If you really believe the process of iron sharpening iron, there are myriads of ways, and none of that process is pleasant. Not even for the one wielding the hammer, because it's hot. You have to get that piece of metal flaming hot, violently hot. Touch it the wrong way, and you're going to burn yourself. Hammer it the wrong way and a spark going to catch something on fire. Not support it the right way and things just fall apart. Iron sharpening iron is not a easy process, and it is not just, oh, iron sharpens iron and we just talk it like this, and that's just so simple. Iron sharpens iron, okay. Oh, no, 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 no. If you want to be a piece of equipment, you will allow the hammer to smash you, flatten you, get stuck back into heat, pulled back out, pressed against something, smashed again, thrown in water, cool off, heated again, smashed again, burned again, cooled again. That happens in the body. Different hammers for a different result. The first phase, you need some big, heavy hitting hammers. Then near the end, you might need some lightly tapping ones that refine. But if you are going to say we are iron sharpening iron, then we can't be committing to this idea that I want to be a certain type of hammering, and I have to be the one hammering and I have to be the one supporting. No, sometimes we are all part of the one getting smacked. Sometimes we are all part of the one being smacked. This week, I had to know that myself had to be smacked. I had to be smacked. I had to go through that portion of that hot. I had to be that. I had to be that. And I had to take the statements made, and I had to admit that there are things I have not been a good steward of. And I did not take seriously what I was handed. And I apologize for that. And you have my word, because the only thing I have, that is not going to be the case any longer. But I can't coerce anybody to be part of the body. I can't coerce anybody to be ready to be both the hammer and the forged piece. I can't force anybody to even be the anvil. Because for all intents and purposes, I'm not the blacksmith. God is. If God is the blacksmith, then do you really have a choice as to whether or not you get sharpened? I mean, sure, you can fail and then, throw it out, I guess, if that's what you want to be, a worthless piece of iron. But if the blacksmith has picked you up and sees that there's a couple of parts of you that ain't so sharp, and he picks up a hammer you don't like and puts you on an anvil that you don't like, but you say you love the blacksmith, and the blacksmith just lays you on the anvil you don't like and takes the hammer you don't like and starts to smack you with it on the thing you don't like, bam. Remember, you say you love the blacksmith. Remember, you said you love the blacksmith. And you trust the blacksmith because the blacksmith has made some really crazy, cool looking tools. So when he puts you on that anvil that you don't like and uses the hammer you don't like and puts you in the water you don't like and puts you in the heat you don't like, you got to remember that the blacksmith makes some pretty stinking cool tools. And whatever he makes you into must be cool because you trust the blacksmith. So let's trust the blacksmith. And when he picks up one of us to be the hammer, or he picks up one of us to be anvils, or he picks one of us to be fire, and then he picks one of us to be the tool to be hammered, burned, and smashed, then you should be good with it. You should be looking forward, even through all of that, to what he's making you into for his purpose. For his purpose. He might be making you into just a letter opener. And that's all you are, a letter opener. The easy answer is to allow the hammering to happen and see what you become. Don't fight the hammering. I can't tell him what I want to be. He knows. He's the blacksmith. Sometimes I won't always be the one getting hammered. Sometimes I'll be the one having to hammer somebody in the hands of the blacksmith. But not all the time I'll be something worthwhile in my mind. A letter opener, a butter knife, a sword, a shield, an axe, a claymore, pitchfork, sickle. You don't know. You have no idea what he's going to hammer you into. But any piece that isn't willing to be hammered can't be turned into what is needed. And the only person that knows is the blacksmith. I think you do know your purpose. I think we all know what our purpose is. And Earl, if you really analyze your statement and then think about it, I think you know what your purpose is. Tell me what your number one purpose on this earth is. And I do mean your number one. What's your number one purpose on earth? It is the purpose we all are given. What is our number one purpose? To follow God. That is it. That is your number one priority. Everything else hinges on that. If you don't follow God, any other purpose you might even remotely want is inconsequential. That is, and he told you, yoke is easy, burden is light. It is one of the, every time he went, follow me. That's all he told his disciples. When he, follow me. Oh, bet, gone. The most he said, I'll make you fishers of men. Whatever that means, let's go. You think they anticipated being sawn and quartered and chopped in half and hung and burned at the stake and boiled in? You think they anticipated all that when he said, follow me? Do you think when they heard, follow me, and they'd be like, okay, bet, I know what he's going to do. We're going to get into all kinds of shenanigans. You think that's what they thought? They had no clue. Some of these men went through some horrific deaths. And this man just walked up and say, "Follow me. I'll make you fishers of men." And they just was like, "All right, cool, bet, let's go." You out there fishing. You doing what you're supposed to do. You out there working. This dude walks up to you, says that you drop everything and just take off. Like, what? You ain't asked what this entail. You notice they didn't ask you what that mean. How long we gonna be gone? How long is this gonna take? What do you really want from me? Can I go home first? I need to change my sandals. I gotta take this fish back to. They left fish. They left net. They just left it. Their number one priority at the time was following. That's it. Follow. And whatever came their way, they did. Whatever happened to them, they took. And all of them suffered. They suffered with each other. They fought with each other. They split ways. They came back together. If we can't do that, I fear we don't really want the body, we want ourselves. We want ourselves. So, I apologize for my lack of taking up what I was given. And I will no longer be that. Mr. Pew, I'm not going to road runner away from this one. And so, once everything is fully rectified this weekend, we'll be doing our Sunday Zoom with a refreshed focus. So, just want y'all to know that this was it was a good wake up call for me, even though it happened outside of the natural channels. So, regardless of whether people saw it as a good thing or not, it was. And it will be because God's in it. God's in it. So I just put up the Zoom notification for the Sunday. He's doing much better. He started therapy, painful therapy. He's going back today, so I'll be missing Savage. I didn't even realize that his appointment was at 4:00, just right in the middle of Savage. So I might be like at the intro, if at all, and just let the guys do it. So, but I have to be there for that because the wife is working today. So, and she's working on Christmas Day, and she's working the day after, and the Saturday all day, and then Sunday she's off. She's off. She's off in the morning, but working all afternoon. So, yeah, but he's doing better. The pain levels are down around a 5 now, maybe 4-ish. Fluctuates with when he does his therapy, but it's back and forth. Anyhow, love you guys. I'll leave you with this real quick. Let me see if I can get this to work properly. I'll leave you with this. And we'll talk come Sunday if you guys show up to the Zoom. Like I said, tomorrow and Friday I'm off. Appreciate you guys. I did. I just haven't had a chance to reply to anything because it's been crazy over here. Absolutely crazy. So I apologize. I have not replied yet. But I will reply to you. I promise. It might be when I have my days off, I'll be able to do it fully. It was a fairly lengthy email. And so, there's one snafu, and that's with my designation of the pets we have, but they're not pets. They're emotional support animals. And so there is a piece of paperwork that's waiting for that to be clarified and figured out. So I'm waiting for my doctors to get the letter to me so I can get it to the house. And everybody's based on everybody else's timing. So it's just been, thankfully, there's been some falling out of people from the race for the place so it's a good thing. So we're kind of just sitting right now waiting for everybody else to do their job. So I'm hoping that once that is all said and done, by the end of January, I'll be in a different location. Because of course I might have to take a whole week off in there to do the actual moving. So that's the goal right now. Okay. So anyway, I'll leave you with this, and I'll catch you guys on Sunday at the Zoom, God willing. Love you, mean it. Wisdom calls to you from the street, so please, please, please find wisdom. Peace.
What if I forgot my place? What if I fell away from grace? Will my place not remember me? Or grace not chase after me? What if I refuse to hear? What if my heart no longer cares? Will your words no longer exist? Or in my heart no longer persist? I can run, I can hide, I can shut me up inside, but you pursue and you seek. Simply wait until I'm weak, because I feel, don't make it true, because I think, don't make it real. The only real is feeling you. The truest thoughts and what you reveal. What if you drew me near to you? What if you showed me what to do? What if you did and I refused? What if it felt like I was used? I can run, I can hide, I can shut me up inside, but you pursue and you seek, and simply wait until I'm weak, because I feel, don't make it true, because I think, don't make it real. The only real is feeling you. The truest thoughts and what you reveal. I can run, I can hide, I can shut me up inside, but you pursue and you seek, and simply wait until I'm weak, because I feel, don't make it true, because I think, don't make it real. The only real is feeling you. The truest thought